Projecting.
Our talk for today is our talk number 3, right? The what it means to be a Christian. So the last talk is about who is Jesus Christ. So I guess we know all of us who is Jesus Christ. And Christian, from the historical perspective, the Christians followers were called as Christian. I think in the city of Antioch. That was one of the third largest city back in Syria when it was under the Romans. So this is where it started Christian. Well, Christian is Christ, so we followers of Christ is Christian. So what it means to be a Christian? Well, me, I am a Catholic. I suppose we are all Catholic. Kevin is a Catholic, right? Okay. We go to church. We contribute to Christian charities. Therefore, I'm a Christian. What do you think, brothers and sisters? Is that right? Is that right? Maybe not. Because if we take that as being a Christian is just associated with being a Catholic, or just giving to charities and giving and going to church, and we say that we are now Christian because we are doing that, I don't think so. So, what are the... Okay, next slide. By the way, this is my family. That was, I think, 2 years ago, right? 2 years back. It was a new year for our New Year's branch. So, there's my daughter, Louise. Most of you know her. Probably these two guys here in front do not know her. She's 25 years old, the only daughter we have. And I should say, she's not with the Couples for Christ, but she's serving as the life team, core team at the church, Principal Redeemer. And mind you, brothers and sisters, when we came to Canada, she was the one first in the service rather than us. Because we are not member of any organization here. We are a member back in Indonesia, but it's not Couples for Christ. It's a group called Genesis Catholic Community. Of course, it is a charismatic community which is associated with Paul Sanchez. And it was only, I think, in 2008 when we joined the Couples for Christ through Brother Choi. Okay. So now let's move on. So, as I have said, I'm a Catholic and I'm a Christian. But, sometimes there's a misconception about Christianity. Right? So, next slide, brother. So, the topic is what is it meant to be a Christian. So, let's see. Next slide. So, misconceptions and incomplete notions about Christianity. I think there's a first one. Oh, yeah, that's the first one. It is a mere religious system. We are members of Catholic, and we say that as Catholic, I think most of us, our being a Catholic is hands down from our parents, right? We did not study, we did not have a choice when we became a Catholic, because we were born a Catholic and we were baptized as a Catholic, and we did not study as a Catholic, right? So sometimes just at our intellectual level that we are Catholic because it's hands down from our parents. So sometimes we thought that what is Catholic? We go to church, we recite Apostles' Creed. So do we really understand it? Do we really take it hard? What is in the Apostles' Creed? So we go to Mass, we go to praying on novenas, we study about our faith, and we do a lot of stuff, good stuff for the Lord, for God. But does it make us a Christian? Going to church, reciting the creed? So, if our religious activity or is not an experience of faith, it is just mere ritual, going to church or reciting the creed, then somehow it's all here, right? It's all in the mind. It's not here. So that's not Christianity. That's not being a Christian, if it is all in the mind. Another thing is that next one is a mere moral system. It's a set of do and don'ts. Like we have the 10 Commandments. So what are we supposed to do? These are sets of do's and don'ts. And we are trying to avoid committing sins, right? So we are saying that we're Christians because we avoid doing sins. And we do things because there's some sort of a rule book, like the Ten Commandments. This is the rule. So what happened? Our Christian faith or becomes now some sort of legalistic. It's legalistic because there's a set of rules that we follow. Oh, we don't do this, or we don't do that, and we are Christians. Probably it's not entirely wrong to do that, that we follow that set of rules to be Christians. But I tell you, as we go along, why these are some misconceptions about Christianity. So, and then, next slide. Christianity is being associated with a moral or humanitarian system. It's like it's a charity organization. We do good stuff for the poor, for those who are helpless, those that need assistance. So it's some sort of a charitable work that we are doing. That we are saying that we are Christians because we are doing charitable work. And we say that being a Christian, we are generous, we're always smiling, and we are good people. We never get angry. I think that's a misconception because just this morning I get angry with my wife. I was telling her that, hey, I'm preparing for a talk and you are somehow, I'm distracted. So, so I got upset. And anyway, if you look back in our Bible, we know that Christ get angry at the temple, right? And they're making it a marketplace, and it's a temple of the Lord, and it's a place of worship and prayer, and yet you're making it some sort of a commercial place for a profit, right? So, being a Christian does not mean that we cannot go angry. We can be angry, but for a good reason, right? And then again, one of the misconceptions about Christianity is an escape to realities. I don't know, maybe you heard about that term that religion is an opium for the poor. I don't know if it is Leo Tolstoy or Stalin who said that one, but it's during the communist revolution in Russia that the term was popularized. And then we are saying that also that sometimes we have also the concept that being a Christian is just living a convent, trying to escape the orders of secular life, because we know that secular life is hard, right? So we're trying to escape. So that's the life of a Christian. And lastly, for us, sometimes we say that Christians are taught, no, being a Christian, there were no more problems, right? Because we are Christian, God will take care of everything, so we have no more problems. In fact, as Christians, we are taught to face the problems, not to run away from the problems. So those are misconceptions about Christianity, because we are putting Christianity in the context of our mind, just some sort of a ritual that we're practicing. But actually, if you were there yesterday, Brother Russell Nazareno said that Christianity, or being a Christian, is really about relationship, right? About relationship. So, what about the truth about Christianity? Truth about Christianity. In essence, that Christianity is about relationship. It's a relationship initiated by God out of His mercy. It is a gift of faith from God. This is a free gift. Again, it's a relationship that was initiated by Christ. When we become Christian, we become a new creation. Why? Because we internalize our relationship with God. It is in the heart. So we act. It is not just from our mind that, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. But we establish a relationship with God in our heart. We internalize it. So why do we do these good things? Why do we help our brothers and sisters? It's a Christian act. Christ wants us to help the poor. And why do we give good advice to our brothers and sisters? It's a Christian act. God loves us and He wants us to do good. So if we internalize it that we are doing this because of the love of God, then we establish relationship with the Lord, with our God. Not just that now intellectual level that, okay, I'm a Christian because I go to church, I read this, I do God's stuff, and so at the end of the day, it always boils down to our relationship with God and how we act in our relationship. And usually, when we become Christian, it's always a daily renewal on our part. Why? We are not perfect. We get angry. We stumble upon. We commit sin. In fact, I should say that we are not perfect Christian. I told you before that I'm a Christian, Catholic, but I think the proper term there is that I am a struggling Christian, just like each and one of us. Even I think St. Paul is a struggling Christian, because who is perfect? Nobody is perfect except Jesus Christ is Lord, right? So we are all struggling. We are all running the race, and it's only with the grace of God that we will become a perfect Christian. So, as I've said, it's a constant renewal. We ask forgiveness when we commit sin. We acknowledge we are wrong. We don't despair, but rather rise up to the occasion. That is a Christian, right? Christian, which is in the heart, and nurturing the relationship with our Lord God, Jesus Christ. If we do that, then we can say that, hey, brothers and sisters, I am Christian, but struggling with it. And no matter what happens, I will maintain, I will nurture that relationship with God. That is being a Christian. So, what are the implications of being a Christian? I have said, So, being a Christian, we become a person of faith. We accept our commitments, and of course, one of the troubles that we have, I think, in our community is that we are scared of commitment. Like right now, we have problems with people stepping up in our community because we are scared of commitment. I'm not, I should say that I'm one of them. And when Brother Choi back then asked me to be a household head, not now, but ultimately I accepted it. And then when Brother Mon asked me to be a unit head, I didn't say yes, but then I just become a household head. So it's a process. I think once you're there and you feel the love of God, and you're committed to propagate the goodness of the Lord, I think sometimes you're not aware, but just say yes. And when I was asked also to be a sector head for Angkop, when Brother Rico asked me first, I was hesitant. I said, no, I'm not ready. But when last November, that was last October, when Brother Tony asked me, I said, I don't know. I just have peace in my heart that okay, I'll do it. I know it's a lot of job, but okay, I'll do it because now I'll be leading the Angkop, and it's a lot of job. But I don't know. Just say yes, and that's it. Now I'll be doing it. So there's a change. There's a change in heart when you become a Christian. You become a person of hope. Hope that things will turn out good, and you keep on trusting in the Lord. And trust is really number one. It's really a very, very big thing for me, because well, all of us sometimes we fall on that why is this happening, and you don't understand things that are going on in our lives. Sometimes you don't know why you get sick. Sometimes you don't know that you lose your job. Sometimes you don't know why you have a big quarrel with your family or with your wife. But if you just continue to trust in the Lord, things will turn out all right. And that's being a Christian. Just leave up your problems to the Lord. Of course, no problem will go away, but as long as you continue to trust and leave it to the Lord God will find a way. So we have that hope. We continue to hope in spite of challenges. We do not despair, but rather continue to trust in the Lord, for His provision and grace. As always said, when there's abundance of things, God's grace overflows. So we don't have to be scared of or despair or be discouraged and stay away from the Lord because we sin. That no sin can be not forgiven by the Lord, because our God Lord is, He's overall loving, and He will continue to love us whatever, and big or small our sin, God will always forgive. And being a Christian, we become a person of love. Our love for one another is what distinguishes us from the others. A true Christian is the one who loves as Christ loved. So, I don't know, brothers and sisters, when you join the Corpus for Christ, I don't know if you have experienced the change in yourself. There must be some change. Maybe you're not aware of it. Maybe you're trying to control your temper. Maybe you're trying to be patient with your children, with your wife, with your boss, with your co-workers. But of course, you cannot take it out. Sometimes you have that outburst, right? When you are angry, you get angry with your wife. You can say some words. When you get angry with your boss, you can say some very crunchy words to describe him. I don't know if you like. Oh, he's so stupid. Sometimes he should be knowing this. But as Christians, sometimes you not just sometimes, but as you calm down, you will realize that I should not use that words because it is being a Christian. So those are the changes that happens when you become a Christian. So there you go. A Christian is a. Can you come back? A Christian is a person of faith, a person of hope, and a person of love. Faith because we know that God will carry us through. Hope because we know that God will always find a way for us, and whatever it is, there's always hope, and we should not despair. And love, most of all, is love. We have to continue to love. Sometimes it's really hard to love. I remember in one of our meetings with Brother Ricky, we are in Angkor, and what we are doing, answering the cry of the poor. We have to love the poor. Do you think it's easy to love the poor, brothers and sisters? Do you think it's easy to love the poor? We are here. We are donating. People are there to be in contact with them. I was just asked when Brother Ricky said that, that do you think it's easy to love the poor? No, it's not easy to love the poor. Why? They are rude. They are rude. They have no manners. Right? They are stinky. Why? They are poor. So they grow up. When they grow up, it's a survival in an environment. So, when you're survival, you're fighting for livelihood, you're fighting for food, you're fighting for shelter. And there are no good words. I can tell because I grew up at the back of our house. It's a squatter area. I played with people who are from the squatter area. The words are different, Those swearing, it's breakfast for them. And cursing is normal for them. So dealing with the poor is quite hard, right? Loving them is really hard because we are here. We smell good. Them. You enter to their house, you can smell. And they don't eat properly, right? And they quarrel. And all those words that you hate to hear because that's why when we have this housing for the poor, we have this formation. We are trying to change these people. So that's what we do. We are Christians. So loving, we become a loving person. And we have to love the poor. So that's how we are being a Christian. Not just from our mind, but both mind and in our heart. That's a Christian, brothers and sisters. I know that we are all struggling. We all struggle with that because we have our, what do you call that? what's the term? That term. Anyway.
Biases?
Huh?
Biases?
Standard?
What?
Bias?
Yeah, we have our biases. And that's why the biases and prejudices. You know. So, and we know that sometimes we don't want to be associated with people who are not loving, who are not, who are using those words that we don't like. But I think when Christians, we need more to reach out to them. We need more of our love to form them, to change them, and to bring them to our Lord Jesus Christ. Right? That is being a Christian. So what is it? What does it mean to be a Christian? In our, it says here, to be a Christian is to have a loving and personal relationship with Christ, not just intellectual level. To know the Father and the Son, and the power of the Holy Spirit, to have faith in God, to live in hopeful expectation of the fulfillment of the plan of God, and to love God above everything else. To love God above everything else. Something that is very hard, brothers and sisters. Because for us human, it's quite hard. I know, because we love so many things, and one thing that I really don't understand is that the love of God for us, that He died for us, but what were we doing? Why do we love God in return like that? Sometimes we just say that we are just human, and we have our, you know, we have our experiences, and we have our biases, we have our beliefs, and we have our practices, and we cannot just do that. And I think it's always a struggle for us. It will always be a work in progress for us to love God. But let's just continue to love God. I think if we just continue, just even 20% of what we're doing is good enough, right? Rather than nothing at all. So in short, to be a Christian is to let Christ take over our life, to obey His voice, to let go, and to let God. Who is our model of a Christian? So we have Mother Mary. Mother Mary is the closest and the person closest to God, Jesus Christ, and has a personal relationship with God. She's the one who first believed from the moment of the Annunciation. He followed Christ when He began His teaching, and most of all, she followed Him to the cross. So that is our closest model of being a Christian. I just want to share with you, brothers and sisters, I think some other people might have heard about it. In one of the homily that I heard, that you know, we call ourselves Christians, but then do we work ourselves? How do I say it? It goes like this: we are Christians, but nobody wants to go to hell, right? Nobody wants to go to hell. But are we keen on going to heaven? Do we do everything to go to heaven? So maybe some of us, yes. Maybe for others, I don't know. But think about yourself. What do you do? Are you keen in doing something to go to heaven? So, and as Christian, we are supposed to be the light of Christ. Father Carlos said it last night. When we were baptized, say, receive the light of Christ. Right? But of course, we do not know because we were still infant, and we do not know that we are supposed to bring the light of God. But now that we are adult, we heard that yesterday, receive the Christ of light. We are supposed to be the light of Christ, right? And as Christian, we should be carrying that light. How? Well, I think in the next topic, we have repentance and faith, right? So, that's just a start. But again, I just like to emphasize, don't despair, brothers and sisters. We are all struggling Christians. And every day is a new day. Every day is a renewal day. And every day we have to renew that relationship with Christ. And we should always have it in our heart that we should have a relationship with Christ through our heart and through our mind, not just with our mind. So may God be blessed.